Hello peachies, welcome back to Dear Peachy. On warm summer days when the sun hangs high and the air feels soft with a gentle breeze, light makeup perfectly complements the season's laid-back charm. Inspired by the golden light and flushed cheeks you get after a sunny afternoon outdoors, today's makeup look brings together warm tones, subtle shimmer, and playful fox freckles. It's light, breathable, and radiant, just like the weather, making it ideal for embracing the season with a fresh, glowing, and effortlessly pretty vibe. Meet Tu, an up-and-rising beauty blogger from XiaoHongShu, who's here to show you this summer-ready look. While she's a fashion model by profession, Tu is a true makeup enthusiast at heart. Her signature style ranges from elegant and airy to effortlessly sexy. Always graceful, always ladylike. If you're someone who's drawn to soft, feminine aesthetics with a touch of sophistication, her account is one you definitely shouldn't miss. Before starting the makeup, Tu uses a damp cotton pad to gently wipe away any excess oil from her face. She had a small breakout near her mouth from an allergic reaction, but it's no big deal. She plans to cover it up later. She begins by applying moisturizer to create a hydrated base. The goal is to leave the skin slightly tacky to help the makeup adhere better. Next, Tu reaches for a creamy orange-toned concealer to neutralize the bluish undertones of her dark circles. She gently taps it in with her fingers, starting from the edges to blend it seamlessly. Then, she applies a fairer shade of concealer to the center of her face to brighten those areas. A light layer is placed on her forehead, chin, and under the eyes to bring the center of her face forward. Using a puff, she blends it out evenly to create a smooth transition. For her foundation, Tu opts for a shade that closely matches her natural skin tone. Nothing too light for your actual skin tone. Starting from the outer parts of her cheeks, she gently sweeps the product inward, blending as she goes to avoid any harsh lines. Then, using a cushion puff, she softly presses and pats the base from the outer edges toward the center of her face. With the remaining foundation on the puff, she lightly taps over her eyelids to create a smooth base for eyeshadow. She sets her base makeup with a setting spray and uses a small fan to dry it quickly. Then, with a powder foundation, she presses it onto the back of her hand to remove any excess and lightly sets the eye area with the leftover powder. Using a beige-brown eyeshadow, Tu defines the lower eye area or aiguisal to enhance her eye shape. A pearly shimmer is then applied to the middle of her under-eye fat to make it look fuller. She goes back in with the beige-brown shade to define the outer lower lash line and extends it slightly upward to connect with the outer corner of the eye. Next, she applies a soft latte shade all over the lid and gently sweeps it along the lower lash line. For eyeliner, she uses a deep brown shadow to sketch along the lash line, subtly winging it upward to lift the eyes. She deepens the outer corners using the same shadow for a more defined shape. A touch of fine shimmer is then added to the center of her eyelid for a pop of sparkle. Today, Tu uses a full strip of false lashes. She picks up a pair of falsies with a more separated and airy design. She begins by securing the middle section, then gently pulls the outer corner upward for a lifted look. If something feels off, she simply uses her fingers to adjust the placement until it looks just right. For contour, she applies liquid shading at the highest point of her cheekbones. Contour is also applied to the nose tip and bridge. She then deepens the hollows of her brows and the sides of her chin. She uses the contour brush to blend everything out in the right direction. On her nose, Tu creates a diamond-shaped contour and blends it downward to sculpt the bridge. For blush, she begins with a warm, yellow-toned cream formula, applying it within the area just beneath the outer corners of her eyes. She blends it in a horizontal triangle shape, sweeping from the high points of her cheekbones inward toward the center of her face for a naturally lifted and youthful effect. A deeper shade is layered on top, across the cheeks and nose bridge, adding depth and a natural flush. She uses a puff to soften the edges and dabs a little on her chin and beneath the nose tip for balance. To harmonize the face, she goes back to the deep brown eyeshadow just now and taps it near the brow's head. Then, She finally covers the small blemish near her mouth using concealer. On the lips, Tu outlines the edges with a reddish-brown lip liner to enhance the shape. A darker lipstick deepens the inner lips, followed by a glossy lip tint to add shine and fullness. For the brows, she fills in sparse areas with brow powder using a brush, extending the tails and shaping the arches and brow head. She also uses a liquid brow pen to help add realistic hair strokes and texture. Next, for faux freckles, Tu will add them across her nose bridge and the outer parts of her cheeks, and she avoids placing them in the center to keep the look clean and more natural. She uses a freckle pen for this step, varying the pressure with each tap to create freckles of different sizes. This technique gives a natural, scattered effect that mimics the look of real sun-kissed freckles. She finishes the lashes by blending the actual lashes and falsies together with mascara, and brushing the lower lashes in a zigzag motion for definition. The final touch is a highlighter from her eyeshadow palette, applied to the tip and bridge of the nose and the inner corners of her eyes. And with that, Tu completes her summer freckles makeup look. What do you think? Tell us in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next video. Goodbye.